Yo, what is up guys, welcome back to another weekly chart breakdown. I know it's been a while since I last did a weekly chart breakdown, so I thought that this week I will be doing one for you guys. So as always, we start off on the weekly time frame on GBPJPY. I must admit that I am currently not trading GJ or GU or gold. I'm mainly focusing on indices right now. So the last few months I've only been focusing on trading US 30, NAS 100 and S&P 500. So if you guys are interested in also me doing those type of breakdowns, make sure to let me know. But I will continue to do the GJ, GU and gold breakdowns for you guys since I've been doing that since the beginning. And most of you trade GJ and gold, so that's why I'm gonna be continuing doing the analysis for you guys. But just keep in mind that I personally will not be trading these pairs anymore. But yeah, so on GJ we start off on the weekly time frame, and we can see that on the weekly time frame we are still very bullish, creating new higher highs and higher lows all of the time. But we do see that the last weekly candle did close in a bearish engulfing candle, also breaking the previous lows that we had before, indicating that the sellers are currently more in control than the buyers. And then coming down into the daily time frame, we can also see that on the daily time frame we are clearly in a bearish trend, creating lower lows and lower highs all of the time. Basically just being in a bearish market structure, right? And now looking at our zones and support and resistance areas, we can see that on the daily time frame we did have a form of a support here, which ultimately got broken by this candle on Thursday, a bearish candle closing back under. Then with this candlestick right here, price tried to push back above support but didn't manage to close above and did close under. So all of that indicates that it's still a very strong bearish market. So now coming down into the 4-hour time frame, what we could wait for, since we are bearish on the daily time frame, we are bearish on the 4-hour time frame, it will make sense to be looking for sales as of right now, and until the 4-hour time frame starts switching bullish again, or the daily time frame. So as long as price is in this market conditions and with this market structure, we will be looking for sales. So potential areas to look for sales will be a pullback back into this daily resistance zone right here. As we can see, we had a form of a support here, and here, and then price broke under. So now we could wait for a pullback back into this area, and if price can hold as a resistance, then we could look to take sales back down into the previous support area that we have right here, which is a 4-hour support. And now if we look to the left, we can also see that price has reacted in this area before again. So here it was respected as resistance, support, resistance, support. So meaning that this 4-hour support and resistance area is a very strong level, which is ultimately also a key level from which we can see some reaction. So if price decides to come back down into this range here, here's where we could see potential buyers come into the market and push price back up, as long as this holds as a support. But since the overall market structure is bearish, if you're looking for buys, make sure to not risk as much, since this will only be medium or low probability setup. If we continue bearish, we could wait for a break of this low here, wait for a pullback back into this resistance area, and then look to take sales back down into the next daily or 4-hour zone, which we have marked off here. And now I will only be mainly looking for buys if the market structure on the 4-hour time frame switches to bullish, meaning what do I need in order to do that? So this is our last lower high right here. So if price breaks this high here, then that's an indication that we can now start or continue the overall weekly bullish trend. So meaning that I would need a break of this high here, then a form of a pullback either into this range or maybe even back down into this support, to then take advantage of buys all the way up into this resistance area right here. For more safer buys, what you could wait for is a break of this overall resistance on a daily and on a 4-hour time frame, and then wait for price to just break and retest above this range for safer buys. Now this will be high probability buys if this should happen. As long as that does not happen, like I said, I will mainly be looking, or would mainly be looking, for GJ sales as long as the market structure continues bearish, because remember, the trend is your friend and you always want to trade with the trend. Alright, so now coming to GU, we were in a bullish trend, but we did switch to bearish in the last few weeks. We also have a head and shoulder pattern on the daily time frame as well, indicating that bears are currently in control. Now how this weekly candle closed is that price did try to push back above, but the sellers were just too strong and pushed price all the way back down, and giving us a form of a hammer candlestick right here on the weekly time frame. So all of this is indicating that there's very strong bearish volume, and there's a very high probability that we could see price come back down to at least this daily support zone before then maybe buyers pushing price back up. So for safe, I would say that price will reach this range here, so the 23,000 key level area for sure. And what happens after, we'll have to wait and see. But if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, these are the potential areas where we could look to enter and take advantage of the sells. So the first area will be a form of a pullback back into this previous support and resistance area, or even into this high here. So we could have a form of a pullback into this range here, and then a sell-off down into this daily zone here. This will be scenario number one, which would be one of the best scenarios. So either it's going to pull back to this point one, or it's going to pull back to this point before continuing bearish to the downside. Another way is to wait for break and retest, obviously under this daily zone, but that will be with high risk because there's a very strong support daily zone. So we'll have to wait for a strong candle closure below this area to then take safer sells back down into new lows. And then another potential area, if we go like a little lower in the time frames, it will be this minor support area that we had here, which ultimately also turned into a resistance. So if price does a minor pullback into this resistance area here, gives you an entry signal, and it is in your session, then you could also take advantage of sells to the downside. But I do believe they will continue bearish for the up following week. We also have some news, so we'll just have to keep an eye on this. When will I be looking for buys? I will only be looking for buys if, like I said, the market structure switches to bullish market structure in the 4-hour time frame. That's when I would be interested in looking for buys. So in order for that to happen, like mentioned previously, we need to break off this high here, and we need a close above the support here. So even if we get a break of this high, but price still rejects this resistance area, we could still see bearish momentum come into the market. So I would need the break of this, then I need a close above support, then I need a pullback, right, a retest to make sure it holds, and then I need an entry signal to take buys up into this range here. So that's scenario number one, where you could look for buys. And scenario number two, basically once price reaches the support area here, we could definitely see some bullish momentum come into the market as well, and target at least these highs here, or maybe even a little higher into these highs here. We'll just have to wait and observe price. And then for super safe buys, we do need a closure above this resistance here, also on a daily time frame. Wait for a pullback to then take buys and continue the over bullish trend to the upside. But as of right now, I'm pretty bearish on GU, so keep that in mind. And now ultimately coming to gold dollar, here's also very bearish on the weekly time frame. We do have lower lows, lower highs all the time as well. And looking on the daily time frame, price is currently respecting this daily support area, which I've marked off here. So we have a support all through here, here, and here, and price has currently rejected the support and respected and closed in the form of a bullish candle to the upside. So we do have some, bullish volume in the market coming in on gold right now, but overall the trend is still bearish. So as long as the trend maintains bearish, I will mainly be looking for sells. Now coming down into the 4-hour time frame, potential areas to look for sells is where price is currently at. So as long as price maintains at this resistance area and rejects like it rejected here and here, we could still see some sells to the downside and price coming back down to this daily support range here. That's scenario number one. Scenario number two will be a steeper pullback back into this resistance right here, and support here on the daily time frame, and then take sells back down into this lows here, and maybe even into these lows down here. And if you're looking for buys, the best areas to look for buys will definitely be a pullback back into this daily support range here. Then wait and see if price can give you a form of a bullish entry signal, and then take buys into these highs here. You can definitely also take advantage of a break of the high setup in this range here. So if we get a break and closure above, wait for a minor pullback, wait for an entry signal, and take short-term buys up into this range here. And for safer buys, we want to wait for a closure above the daily resistance zone, wait for a pullback to then take buys into this highs, or maybe into new highs here. But overall, gold is still also pretty bearish, but you can take advantage of short-term buys as well. So just keep that in mind as well. And yeah, guys, that's it for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Let me know if you want to see US 30, NAS 100, and S&P 500 breakdowns as well. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.